we talk about stories that have all of us talking.
We are joined by Susie Falk with the Falk Group Public Relations. Jeff Wagner back with us. Several soldiers are hitting up Craigslist shopping for wives. They're doing it to make more money and get better benefits. Soldiers are paying women to marry them just to get the extra perks.
I caught this story.
It's called contract marriage.
Yeah. And it's not the first time I think someone or people have married for reasons outside of love. They've found a loophole in the system and they're taking advantage of it. And is it appropriate that they're doing this, on the taxpayer dime? Probably not. Perhaps there should be some sort of a waiting clause, maybe 18 months, 2 years. Once you're married, then the benefits kick in.
We're talking several $1,000s here, better money for housing as well. So it's quite a bump in pay.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, okay, the big picture: marry for love, not money. Now, money's not bad, but marry for love as well. This idea, this reminds me of the old stories you hear about mail order brides. People coming over from Europe or whatever, the old country, who'd never met the spouses before. Here's what I think the larger issue is. We need to figure out ways to compensate the people who are protecting and defending this country in a way that's reasonable. Now, you're right, Charles. There's a difference, and it can be thousands of dollars. You would hate to think, though, that people are so venal that they're willing to, get married, make this permanent commitment just for a few extra bucks. Maybe we need to look at saying, okay, do we need to increase the benefits to get rid of this disincentive?
I agree, and my question, too, is at the end of the day, these aren't going to work out, these marriages for the most part. So aren't you spending more in the divorce process than you have gained by being married?
But I think these are all contracts. The contracts have all been worked out. So it's not like they end up in divorce. They probably just part company. I don't know. You raise a good point on that. I guess I was just sort of surprised that the military has a pay scale based on if you're married.
Well, but there's benefit. I think it's
the benefits.
Just beyond that. It's benefits that you would extend to dependents. So, plus like the living allowances and things like that. I mean, and it's.
Look at the other side too. The women or the men that are marrying into the military family, they're getting education, tuition paid for. So they've got a real incentive to want to see that contract happen. And my guess, Charles, and all is that once that contract, maybe the 3-4 years is done, they part company. There's not a lot of defense or divorce costs involved, and so this is a loophole. We got to look into this.
The reality is this is subsidized prostitution. Let's just call it for what it is, and the taxpayers are paying for it.
Unless they're not consummating the marriage, we don't know what goes on.
Well,
and as one of the stories they did, but that's what they pointed out. And one of the stories that the Today Show did on it, it was pretty much that they showed just making this arrangement. And the guy said, "Yeah, you can go do what you want,
Kind of like a mail order bride, Jeff.
All right.
Coming up for love, not money.
Yeah. Coming up next, we're revealing the viewer's choice topic of the day.
And John Milan is back with another look at our viewer's choice topic of the day.
Again, we're joined by Susie Falk and Jeff Wagner. Well, here's the viewer's choice topic. An Indianapolis middle school student was banned from playing football. The student was benched because she's a girl. The Catholic Youth Organization, which regulates the league, has a policy: no girls allowed in boys' sports. Should she be able to play?
If she's good enough, which she is, apparently this team, she's a kicker. Apparently this team hasn't made a field goal or an extra point all year. This gal's apparently a superstar. They say that she could be starting on varsity for lots of high school teams in the area. If there's not a girls' team that she can play on, and there isn't, and if she's good enough on her merits, I say let her play.
And I agree with you. I just think the parents are nuts for letting her play with boys. And as she gets older and the boys get bigger, I see all kinds of accidents and injuries happening. But if this makes a little girl happy and she wants to play, and right now her parents are letting her let her play.
But aren't you surprised we're still having this debate? I mean, what was the young girl in the Little League tournament this year that was the sensation? I mean, she was an outstanding pitcher.
Right. Right. I will tell you, it's funny, I was talking about this story with a friend of mine who's raised a number of kids. His daughter, when she was in 7th grade, wanted to play football. The reason the dad didn't want her to play is he actually thought she might be hurting some of the boys. He said, you're just going to crush their spirit and stuff, And
there are a lot of girls that are playing hockey now, coming up playing hockey. I don't know. It seems a little outdated to say you're a girl, so you can't.
But here's the question. If it's an all-girls team and a boy wants to play on the all-girls team, do we let him?
Well, see, That's where you do have the kind of the slippery slope type of thing. Let's talk like volleyball. Let's say high school volleyball,
Right.
and there's no boys volleyball team, and you've got a guy that's 280 pounds and 6'10" who wants to play, and it really creates a competitive mismatch. I think that gets dicier. That's not what this one is, though.
Agreed.
All right.
Time for a lightning round. A Louisiana restaurant is offering a discount for customers who carry guns. The restaurant is doing this after several national chains like Target has decided to ban guns. So you bring your gun, you get a discount for your lunch.
I think this restaurant's probably the safest restaurant in Louisiana.
No, you know what? It's brilliant. They know no one's going to come in and rob them.
And it's a great PR move because we're talking about it. So, they're in the news. People are thinking where to go out for dinner. They support gun rights. Let's go spend some money at that restaurant.
Right.
So good for them. They're private. They can.
Well, that's exactly right. Then people could decide if they don't want to go. It's interesting. It started out they were going to say we want to cater to law enforcement. So originally it was okay. We're going to give the discount to law enforcement, and then they just said, hey, we've got this whole guns rights issue. Let's put this up there. And again, if you're uncomfortable with this, go somewhere else. Right.
Exactly.
Free market.
All right, we got a few seconds to kill. Jeff, your prediction for tonight's game?
They're going to crush them.
Crush them.
21 points or more.
Wow.
You bet. Go. And
Well,
that's the Packers, by the way.
Minnesota might be on their third string quarterback at this point?
I think they're going to crush them.
Susie, you're going to go for a win, aren't you?
I do, but I don't think it's going to be quite that spread. I would give it about 7 points.
Wow. Okay.
The line is 9.
Put some money on there?
We like to see when you guys disagree.
Got a little bit of it. Yeah. The claws didn't come out, though.
They're both going to win, but it's different on the points. All right, the What Hot's discussion continues online. Find that page at TM.